everybody doing? Another day in the market.
Highs, you're definitely in an uptrend, so it's literally good. Literally, I don't know why I say literally so much. You're literally fine on, that's so funny, I need to somebody clip that.
This couldn't happen again. This is that one.
Welcome. We are back. Another day in the market. Hope everybody's doing well. Chat is very quiet right now. Let me know what's up. I haven't streamed since Friday. It's now Monday. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. And yeah, we're going to talk about a lot tonight. Bitcoin first, then the overall stock market, which I have a lot to talk about when it comes to the market right now. Then we'll talk about CLOV, Fisker, the ongoing trades, and we'll do take requests. So pretty casual stuff tonight. But yeah. Let's get started with Bitcoin. Currently, Bitcoin is up 30% since the alert. I think the alert was towards the end of September. It's only been a couple of weeks, I think. It's been about 2 weeks since the alert, and it's up 30% since then. So really good stuff. It even had some 4-hour hidden bullish divergence playing out, got up to about 58K and then pulled back $1,000. Also a bullish engulfing candle on the daily. And the RSI was overbought for a little bit, but it kind of reset on this 1% pullback Bitcoin is seeing in the last hour. So for Bitcoin right now, I think you could probably create a demand line like this. You just probably wanted to hold that. I mean, in general, your huge support's like 50.4K, and that's more than 10% under the current price. But yeah, next resistance is around 59.5K. We'll see if it can get there. It already exceeded the 78% retrace from the all-time high to the June low. If you look at it like this, you can see for a little bit it was above that 78% retrace. Now it's currently a little bit under it. It's just kind of messing around at that level. And yeah, that's really it for Bitcoin. Nothing too crazy. Let me put up my fan really quickly. What's up, JG, Simply Sung, Barasan, KTF, Judah, Solstice, D, Commando 26V. Hopefully everybody's doing well. And yeah, that's really it for Bitcoin in terms of the altcoin trades. They were up a lot more at one point. They have pulled back, unfortunately. I think Bitcoin dominance is just really high right now, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it should be at least. Let's check it out. Yeah, so Bitcoin dominance has been running really ever since beginning of September, which just means that compared to altcoins, Bitcoin is just outperforming for right now. You know, after underperforming from like December of last year to pretty much, like I said, September. So yeah, really like long term. I mean, you could look at this as like look at this level right here. This 39.74 level on Bitcoin dominance. It was a low from May of 2018, and now it's trying to double bottom off of that low. Bottomed once in May and then another time, like I said, in September. I don't know if you would call this a dragon, but I think Ghost is in the chat right now. Pretty close to a dragon right there. This part's kind of extended, but yeah, it's running That might just be why altcoins are not doing super hot right now, but that could change. Zcash trade's currently up about 4% since the entry. Really not much of any technical change since the entry is just pulling back. OXT has some bearish divergence on the 4-hour playing out currently. And let's see, it might be breaking a level on the 1 hour. Yeah, it also broke under this 33.5 cent level. On the 1 hour was a resistance, then it flipped into a support, and now it guess you broke it, so it's a resistance again. So yeah, that's really it for OXT and Zcash. I mean, good news is both of them were up over 10% at one point, so they cannot be losing trades. I think UMA as well. So yeah, UMA was up over 10%. So let me just put an alert there. So worst case, they're break-even trades. For all of them. Let me just quickly change my alerts before we talk about the market. All right, so I already have it for Zcash. Yeah, so that's really it for the crypto stuff tonight. The Loch Ness Monster Ghost is in the chat. Hope you're doing well. KTF says wild when I realized I have better risk management at Champs Casino than in the market. I finally had like my first like good run. I think I went from like 1,000 to 4,000 in like a day. Again, it's not a real casino, it's all fake money. It's just like mini games and stuff in the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, links in the description if you want education on technical analysis and trading, and a bunch of other cool stuff. The link is always in the description. It's completely free. And yeah, Cheddar Freeze, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but I was playing the remix. Not, I wouldn't say the remix, but like the mix that you made. What would you title that type of a song? Just a song you made. The beat, I don't know. But I was playing that at the start of the stream. All right, so let's talk about the market. We're kind of done with crypto for right now. Drinking some tea as per usual from the FTM mug, wearing the FTM hat. Let's talk about what's going on with the market right now. Hit that like button if you didn't already. It's in the title of the stream, kind of in the thumbnail. The thumbnail was pretty much, if anybody watched Squid Game, from like the tug of war scene. But yeah, tug of war right now for the market. That's really the easiest way to put it. We're gonna start off with the S&P, then we'll talk about everything else. But all right, let me just start off with my overall opinion on the market right now, and then I'll kind of explain a little bit further. It's a little bit different this time around. So really quick, like 30-second recap. Over here, I said I was bullish, but I was going to be cautious because I didn't think we'd have that much of a run. That's pretty much what happened exactly. Then I got bearish up over here. That, you know, we fell back down. I got bullish again over here. That was last week. And then we rallied again. And then today, you know, I think Friday was my last stream, and I was talking about this 4370 level on the S&P as a big level I'm watching, as well as the gap fill. But yeah, that's really the last 2-3 weeks of what I've been saying for the market. Right now, I still need more data to get a more solid opinion on the market. I think we're still just testing this really important zone for the S&P. And also for the NASDAQ, we're just going, you know, below it, above it, a little bit below it. We're just kind of chopping around there. It's tug of war. So I still need more data to get like a more longer term feeling for the market, or just probability. For right now, I just still need to see, you know, is this level going to be resistance or support for multiple days, even multiple weeks in a row? We really haven't had that much data yet. But short term, and by short term, I mean literally tomorrow or on Wednesday, I think we're going to see a bounce. Now, keep in mind, futures are down a lot right now. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. They're down 0.5% right now. So they're down quite a bit overnight. So even if we do gap down tomorrow, and of course, we'll see what futures look like in the morning. Even on a gap down tomorrow, I still think we're going to see a bounce between, you know, I don't know how much we gap down. If we gap down, I don't know if we flush a little bit further after the gap down. But I think, you know, regardless, I don't know how low we're going to go first if we even do gap down. But I do think, you know, whatever the low is, whether it's something like this, or let me just redo that, or whether it's something like this. Okay, like I don't know how much the first impulse down is going to be if futures stay like this. But after whatever that first impulse is, I think we're going to see a little bit of a bounce. Now, let me explain why I think we're going to see a bounce after, again, so how do I put this? I want to make this like in chronological order. So let's say, again, futures can change overnight, but just we're looking at futures right now down 0.5%. Let's say the market gap's down tomorrow. Maybe we pull a little bit further around the open. I think we're going to see some sort of a bounce. You know, I don't think we're going to have too much more to sell off between tomorrow and Wednesday. And let me kind of explain why. If we go over to the 15-minute on the S&P 500, actually, let's go over to the SPY. I actually have it charted there. So if we go over to the SPY, let me take a look at the RSI. All right, so take a look at where I put these boxes on the RSI. All right, now I'm going to put a blue line. So you're looking at these, let me just make it a lot bigger right now. You're looking at these yellow boxes on the 15-minute RSI. And I'm going to put some lines to show what happened every single time that the RSI got to this level, the last 3 times. All right, so that was time number 1. This was time number 2. This was time number 3. And then currently we're at number 4, okay? It's a 15-minute chart, and you can see the last 3 times that the RSI was exactly at this level, just slightly oversold on the 15-minute for the S&P 500. You got a bounce. We had a 2% bounce the first time, a 2% bounce the second time, and a 3% bounce the third time. So 2 to 3% bounce is what happened the last 3 times the RSI got to this level on the 15-minute. So again, we're back at the same RSI level. Of course, the RSI can go lower. 16 is another level on the RSI that the S&P kind of bounces off of. But I do think that just because of where the RSI is right now, between either tomorrow, maybe even if we flush the morning, maybe in the afternoon, or Wednesday morning, maybe if we have a horrible day tomorrow, I think we see a bounce just because of the low time frame oscillators. We're just pretty oversold in low time frames because from the high that we put in on Friday, we're down about 1.5% already. So yeah, I mean, if we gap down 0.5%, that means we're going to be down 2% since Friday's high. And RSI is just going to be a level where historically, pretty much every single time the RSI would have gotten to this level on the 15-minute chart this year, we bounced at. I mean, we really haven't seen the 15-minute RSI go under these levels for more than a day or two this whole entire year without seeing a bounce. So unless that trend changes and we have some sort of a different movement, for right now, I'm just looking at the trend as your friend. So, you know, we'll see what the morning looks like. I have no clue what the morning will look like, but I do think regardless of whatever the open is, I think between tomorrow and Wednesday, we could see some sort of a bounce. But that's a very short-term thing. Just because of a 15-minute oscillator, you can easily get a 0.5% bounce and then sell off again. I'm just saying a very short-term thing for the market. Now, regardless, all right, so let's say we have the morning flush with the futures being down, then we have a bounce in the afternoon or whatever it is, then that's when things get back to 50-50. Because then I got to see, you know, if we do something like this, we gap down to right over here, and then we bounce, and then we retest this level. Do we use it as resistance, right? Do we use this level as resistance and then sell off again? Or do we break above it, break out of this descending broadening wedge with the green MACD on the daily and a low RSI on the daily, or at least lower than 50 on the daily? So there's so many different scenarios, and I don't want to predict it ahead of time. I mean, I could try. It's a 50-50, but I like a little bit more of that. I like a little bit more of an edge than a 50-50, so I'll just wait for more data. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the overall market between tomorrow and Wednesday. Tomorrow morning could be volatile. I mean, if futures are like this, it should be volatile. But again, I think Shadow Free said earlier, low volume day today. So we'll see what the morning looks like. That's pretty much what I got for the S&P. The Nasdaq's pretty much the same thing. Kind of also filled that, or it did fill that gap on the daily. It's still just kind of testing this 14.5K level, which is the equivalent of 4370 on the S&P 500. Russell 2000 is just kind of in this weird zone that's been has been bouncing off of since July between these two demand lines. And then the ARK ETF might be trying to make a higher low. I would love to see a higher low on the ARK. That would pretty much be the first higher low since I mean, this was technically like the same low, so like since all the way over here. I mean, I'm looking at like the major stuff. You could technically call this the higher low as well in this, but just like the overall trend. So a higher low would be cool on the ARK ETF. It actually did bounce off of a gap fill today, and then it just kind of closed at the gap fill. So we'll see what the rest of the week looks like. Right now, I'm just looking to see a bounce, even after a morning flush if we get one. That's what's next, you know, in my opinion, but I don't know what the future is. I could be wrong there. All right, so that's my thoughts on the market overall. US 10-year, we talked about this back in August, the ascending triangle inside of a descending broadening wedge. Look what that turned into, a major move for the US 10-year bonds. And tomorrow, I don't know if these are technically open. Did they just open up? I don't know, because it's not moving on the 15th. I think it's just the daily that's moving on. I don't know what the hours are or when they open, but yeah, you're right under this 1.64 level, which was a low back from 2015. So we'll see if that can be a resistance tomorrow or not for the US 10-year. And then the VIX, still making higher lows. Had a bullish pin bar today as well. Again, you know, we've had lower lows pretty much from June of 2020 to June of 2021 for the VIX, and then we started making higher lows, and we still are making higher lows for right now on the VIX, which is a little bit, I'm going to say concerning, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, eventually it'll probably make a lower low. The question is just when. All right, so that's my thoughts on the market. Futures are going even lower right now. They're down more than 0.5%. So like I said earlier, whatever the open is, even if we flush a little bit further at the open, we're going to be very, very oversold on low time frames. I mean, you can look at a bunch of different stocks, and they're probably oversold or close to oversold on low time frames. You know, it's just across the board, you're going to have stocks that are going to be oversold on a gap down. So the RSI's already got low on low time frames because we were selling off from really 11:40ish up until the close, like 4 straight hours of selling. You know, we'll see. I'll be surprised if we just have another day where the whole entire day is a sell-off and we don't bounce again. That would surprise me, but I could be surprised. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the market right now. Finally, the dollar. I don't think it's moved too much. It's kind of going sideways for right now. All right, so those are my thoughts on the market. Let me see what's up in the chat. So if I had a huge day, what's up, Maddie? Yeah, where's everybody? We got 44 people in here and only have the mods in the chat. We're going to be doing ticker requests later on in the stream. We're not doing ticker requests right now. Oh, we got football tonight. Still got a good amount of people in here. I mean, we only got 25 likes though. I don't know. All right, so chat's gonna be quiet. We could talk about CLOV and then Fisker. Good stuff for CLOV. Last week I said I thought we were bottoming, and you know, we're up a nice amount since then. In terms of the technicals on CLOV right now, it's interesting. I mean, it's close to a 3 white soldiers, but it's not actually 3 white soldiers. You've had 4 strong days apart from this kind of flat day. It was up 0.5%, but very, very nice move off the bottom. You have confirmed classic bullish divergence on the daily. And again, we talked about these oscillators. I was talking about the classic bullish divergence while CLOV was in the low 7s. I was talking about how that 36 level was support on the RSI. And I talked about the bullish engulfing candle right over here the day that it happened. And if we go over to the 4 hour, we had the classic bullish divergence there as well, the wedge. And then on the 1 hour, we had the scuffed bullish butterfly. And then on the 30-minute, we had the alternate bat. I was sharing all of that for like a week straight. You know, all those different variables. I pinged the Discord, I tweeted it out, and you know, a catalyst came out, I think on Friday. That obviously helped a ton. And then today we got follow through price action. So far so good. My thoughts on it right now. Again, if we go over to that 2-day chart just for a visual, you're seeing similar price action as to what we saw from March to May. Very similar. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Also, your 2-day MACD went to green. We go over to the daily again. Today was pretty much, you had a nice move intraday. We kind of pulled back halfway when the market was pulling back, but you did hold gains. You closed up 3% today. On the 4 hour though, you did close both 4 hour candles under this 812 resistance. That was resistance over here and resistance over here. I'm not sure for anything else. It was kind of support over here and over here. But yeah, the 812 level, you close both 4 hour candles under that. So until there's a 4 hour close above that, I'm not going to say there's anything bearish about not closing above that, but for a breakout, you want to see it close above that, right? So it's just, it got above it for like half the day, but it couldn't close above 812 on either 4 hour candle. So keep that in mind. You know, you have a rounding bottom here as well. I mean, I don't know, maybe it turns into a cup and handle, maybe it doesn't, but you do not have a handle yet. You just have, let me delete this. Right now, you just have a rounding bottom. That's really it. So we'll see if it turns into a cup and handle. But that's really all you got for right now on the 4 hour. Potential cup and handle if it starts pulling back. Yeah, so 1 hour, you were overbought for a little bit. You're no longer overbought because it pulled back intraday. And that's really about it. I mean, not too much of a change. It had a nice green day, pulled back a little bit with the market. It's not super hard to understand the price action from CLOV today. It's really straightforward in my opinion. And tomorrow, it's also pretty simple to me. If it can close the 4 hour candles above 812, that's great. That'll be the first time it closes 4 hour candles above 12 since September 17th, or 812, not $12. If it can't close those candles and hold above $8.12 tomorrow, then there's a potential to get a cup and handle on the 1 hour and the 4 hour if it pulls back to maybe 785, which is a support from these two lows back in July and August. So yeah, it's either it has a nice day despite futures being down a lot and you could break out of 812, or it doesn't and you can get a cup and handle as long as it doesn't sell off too much. So that's really it for CLOV tomorrow. Divergence still looks good on the daily. Again, these are higher time frame technicals, the daily and the 4 hour. So even though they are bullish technicals, you could have a couple sideways days or pullback days. It just went up 13. I mean, at one point it was up 17% off the low. I mean, that's a very good move for 4 days. Of course, it keep going crazy. I don't know what the chatter looks like on social media. But yeah, I'm very, very open-minded for CLOV right now. This is where I thought it was bottoming at, and it did bottom there, at least in terms of like a local bottom. And we'll see what this move either turns into or not. Yeah, tomorrow I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't want to kind of complicate it too much. I already looked at the options data on trading ticks for CLOV, and there really wasn't much of a change. We're actually really low options data today, despite the green day. So that's it. Volume still is pretty lackluster, about average, I believe. So yeah, pretty simple on CLOV. Don't want to overcomplicate it. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get up to 50 likes right now, and let's talk about Fisker, which had a nice intraday move. If you're a premium member, 20% profits trading calls on it, pretty much right over here. This is pretty much the trade. I was honestly hoping for more than that, but it could eventually, you know, you have a 1 hour falling wedge, and maybe it's back testing it right now, maybe you run again. Still, it's under 1450, which is that important level from January. But again, with everything that I'm talking about, you have to keep in mind that futures are down more than 0.5% right now. So if you do get gap downs on CLOV, on Fisker, on whatever stock, because of the overall market, that can change things. I almost dropped my T. In terms of the 4 hour for Fisker, still potential hidden bullish divergence as long as it holds above 1215 and still in a down sloping channel. It did have a 4 hour bullish engulfing candle as the first 4 hour candle today, and then kind of a nothing candle as the second one. That's really it for Fisker. I mean, a lot of these charts are very, very simple. I mean, they're pretty much, you know, I don't think they're like super bullish or super bearish. They just show two different scenarios. I mean, if we're looking at CLOV and Fisker, just a lot of stocks I'm looking at right now, whether the market's green or red, there's clear scenarios or potential scenarios to both sides with decent probabilities in terms of where you could be headed to. It just depends on the market. I'm very, very focused on what the market's doing right now. I think a lot of stocks are just blindly following the market, as they tend to do in volatile periods. So yeah, that's it for Fisker. New trade is VIPS, of course, not financial advice, but on the weekly, you have a bullish bat. Now the PCZ of this bullish bat is at an nice line. This 1050 level was a triple bottom in 2016 to 2017. That was pretty much about it. And you bounced off of it last week, and no divergence on the weekly, but the MACD is moving back towards green. We do have divergence on the daily. You have classic bullish divergence, and it broke out of this wedge on the daily. So very simple wedge and divergence on the daily, and then a 2-year-long bullish bat on the weekly. So it's really interesting to see this because I believe it's a Chinese stock. And then you have, again, like I've showed on the stream earlier, HSI with as well a bullish bat. Can't even think. A bullish bat on the daily. I guess you could try and fit on the weekly as well. But yeah, speaking of the HSI, looks like a gap down. So down 1.3% right now. And yeah, that is VIPS. And then we have NEO. It broke out of the wedge. We have confirmed classic bullish divergence on the daily. It's just kind of going sideways right now. There is a gap fill around $34. Hopefully it can just stay above 34, which was this double bottom from March and April. And yeah, 34 is the level I'm watching on NEO. Again, another Chinese stock, so keep an eye on the overall Chinese market. And just a lot of these are going sideways. I mean, even despite the market being pretty red, most of the swings were sideways today. They were pretty flat. PBR as well, still around the entry, broke out of the wedge with classic bullish divergence. It was up 3.5% in the morning since the entry, and it just kind of pulled back. So kind of the same thing for most stocks. Trip still going sideways. The technicals still roughly look the same. You're kind of losing a little bit of that divergence. You still have the dragon at the PCZ of this scuffed bat. It's not really a textbook bat. That's just decided to bounce twice at the 83% retrace. So that's really it for the swings. Again, a lot of these things are very, very straightforward. I just think the overall market's going to be the decision maker for a lot of the stuff. Futures going even lower right now. Yeah, futures kind of flushing right now. So we'll see what the morning looks like. For me personally, I was up a lot in like the first 2 hours of the day. I took some profits, but I should have taken a lot more. I was up huge on some day trades. Like I entered them like 5 minutes after the open. A lot of different calls and stuff. I was up 50, 60, 70%. And I just didn't take as many profits as I should. And I ended up closing the day a little bit red today. So a little bit frustrating start to the week for me. And I still have some of those calls. So if the market gaps down tomorrow again, a little bit frustrating. But last week was great for me. So give and take, I guess. Yeah, what's up in the chat? That's pretty much it. I mean, very straightforward. I think the market's the main focus right now. Of course, there's going to be stocks that shine. There were stocks that, shine today, like SoFi and ANY and PROG. So just depends. But volatility can create good day trades. Yeah, we'll see. So let's see what's up in the chat. David Chu says thoughts on Elliott waves. Yeah, I don't use them personally. I don't have anything against them. I just haven't really, how do I even put it? They just haven't really been attractive to me. That doesn't mean they don't work. It's just not my thing. Red Sox are playing right now. Thomas says, what kind of volume does CLOV need to sustain? I mean, on its past runs, it's just had higher than average volume. There was obviously insane volume on the day it went to all-time highs. Or it might have been the day before. Yeah, the day before it went to all-time highs. There was over 700 million in volume. Today there was 17 million. So very huge difference there. But obviously this wasn't, over here it was very technical, but by the time it got up here, it was just all hype and squeeze and all that stuff. So yeah. When RSI is above 70 but goes slightly below, you still classify as not overbought, even though it's likely the RSI will trend downwards. Who's buying at RSI above 60? I mean, a lot of people do. Breakout traders, momentum traders buy overbought RSIs all the time because they're playing, if a stock's up 15%, they think it can go up 25%. For me personally, if it's above 70, it's overbought. If it's below 70, it's not overbought. But yeah, there's obviously different levels on the RSI. The higher you go, based on most RSIs, there's a likelihood of eventually turning around, and then vice versa. The lower you go, likelihood of bouncing. But the timing can always be a little bit weird. Sometimes you'll have the RSI shoot up on a very small bounce. Sometimes you're going to have the RSI shoot down on a very small pullback. They move a little bit different, All right, so that's really it for all the analysis. Futures kind of starting to go sideways now after just selling and selling and selling. But yeah, 6 more likes, hit 50 likes. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the stream. Join the Discord, links in the description. And that's it for the night. I'm just kidding. We're going to do taker requests now. If you want me to look at a taker for you, drop it in the chat. Do not request anything that was up over 30% today. Don't request any OTCs, and don't request anything that IPO'd within the last month. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. Technicals are never a certainty. I know there's a lot of idiots online that make you think that, but again, they're idiots. So yeah, drop takers in the chat if you want me to take a look at it, and I will. Oh, we already looked at CLOV. It'll be in the timestamps. All right, so we'll get started with these. First off, Boeing. Just kind of testing the supply line where it's topped out 4 times before. It was above it for a little bit today, closed under it, also closed under the 200-day moving average. So it looks like it was trying to break out in the morning, and then the market probably pulled it back. And, you know, it's close to a breakout, but it's not confirmed yet. And I mean, that's really about it. It's made kind of between a 618 and a 786% retrace. I don't see much of a pattern here. Yeah, I mean, those are kind of your levels. I mean, apart from that, you have this, you have that, and kind of 259. I don't know if that lines up with anything else from the past. Kind of lines up from a high in 2017. BABA broke out of a wedge. I tweeted it out last week, and it's gapped up for like 1, 2, 3 days in a row, pulled back after the gap up today. Obviously there's multiple gaps to downside to fill, but there's also a lot of gaps to the upside to fill. So it's been all over the place. It has classic bullish divergence. It just came up to this 170-ish area, which was a low from March of this year, and a resistance in December of last year, and a low from April of 2018. So it's a crazy level, this 170 level. It just, yeah, I charted this all out and I shared it on Twitter last week. Broke out of the wedge and then hit the resistance. Now it's pulling back. We'll see what happens next. BBIG, I don't like that it fell under 562. That was kind of where it bottomed on September 24th and September 30th. That's where it's kind of under now. You have potential hidden bullish divergence on the daily though. The only question is how low can it go before going higher. You also have confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. This could be argued as it already broke out. Now it's back testing the breakout of this supply line. Maybe you could look at it like a wedge as well. And yeah, I mean, the 4-hour looks better than the daily. I mean, just because of that 562 level. So we'll see. Hopefully you can just reclaim that. Upstart. Looks like a hit of 2618 roughly, pulled back a little bit. Potential hidden bullish divergence on the daily for Upstart. Same thing on the 4-hour, potential hidden bullish divergence on the MACD and on the RSI. Made a higher low in price, a lower low in the oscillators. If you ever get confused by any of the technical terms I mentioned on stream, there's a free course in the description. It's 3.5 hours long. Could have broken out of a bull flag. Now it's just starting to go sideways. These are the short-term levels I see. And then your resistance is your previous all-time high. WTRH is in a falling wedge. Classic bullish divergence on the daily, not really doing much, and is trying to hold this 81-cent level, which was a low from April, pretty much the COVID crash, April of 2020. So it's just kind of testing the supply line of this wedge. It's been in since December, really pretty much the whole entire year exactly. That's really it. If it can break out of it, I mean, eventually it does have room back up to test 131. That's obviously well above the current price, and obviously You have earnings in the beginning of November, so that could, you know, make or break the technicals. Tattooed Chef. I don't know. Bullish convergence on the MACD and RSI on the daily. Maybe look at like this. A bit of a wedge here that it's trying to kind of break out of, but it closed like right in it. I'd say closest resistance is $19, and then after that 22, and then support's just this huge range. It's bounced off of like 4 times since last year. Wish in a falling wedge as well. Might have broken out of it. Also might be back testing the breakout with classic bullish divergence on the daily. We'll see if it does anything or not. I know there's obviously a lot of fundamental concerns here in the past couple of months ever since that earnings that it just got destroyed on. Yeah, 623 is a resistance, and then your previous all-time low at 460 is your support. SHIB, there's just not a lot of data on this for me to do anything with. You do actually have 4-hour hidden bullish divergence currently, and then maybe just look at this like a triangle. Kind of has some gray area inside over here. Yeah, that's what I got here. You do have hidden bullish divergence on the far end of the daily. So I mean, I don't know where it's going to next, but those are the variables we have on the 4-hour. On the daily, there's really nothing you can do with technicals at all. I mean, I guess pretty much had a bullish engulfing candle, but again, this thing's up 350% in just a week or so, or 2. XRP, I'd say like 105 is your support. I think I already had that charted. It was where you kind of found resistance in May, support in August, and then support kind of in the beginning of this month. You had a very nice impulse off that level, pretty much 15% move, and then it just pulled back 9%. So maybe there's like a triangle or something on lower time frames. No, it's more of like a wedge or a channel. I'd say a wedge on the 1-hour with classic bullish divergence. But again, it might just depend on Bitcoin. So yeah, 109 to 105 I would say is your support. All right, that's XRP. Thank you for the 50 likes. Make sure to join the Discord if you're not in it already. Links in the description. Space is sitting at this $23 support. It was a resistance in October of 2020, a support in January of this year. Just sitting right at it. Maybe a little bit of a wedge is starting to form. If you don't want to use that wick, you could just kind of look at it like this. I think that looks better, honestly. And then triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. So yeah, I just want to see it hold 23. CSIQ, also classic bullish divergence on the daily on the MACD and on the RSI. Potential double bottom here. Just like that. Maybe even like a dragon. And these are kind of your levels. And then obviously like your double bottoms here support. So that's what I got on CSIQ. AMPG, the support's 323. It's a make or break area. It dates back to December of last year. It's held it since August. Hopefully it can continue to hold it. If it can really bounce off this level, I'd say you got 437 and then 478 as your next resistances. That's really it. That's all I got for you. Levels. Technically, you do have some hidden bullish divergence potentially on the daily MACD. ATOS kind of hit the PCZ of like a bullish Garley, kind of, and it's just been going sideways since, and it's just kind of chopping around the 200-day moving average in the middle of a major support and resistance. I could see it going either way. And then Solo, yeah, it's just not really doing anything after hitting the PCZ of this bullish bat. It's trying to triple bottom off this area, but it's just not really moving that much. It's just been in a range between $3 and $4 since July. So I guess might just depend on whichever way that range breaks. And yeah, that is Solo. Thank you for dropping the Discord link in the chat, Chetta. Lucid, I mean, still could be a cup and handle. I was hoping it would do a little bit better testing this $28 area again, but it's still, that's just like the steal off for Lucid, like $28 to $30 just hasn't been able to get above since March. So now I'd say it supports like 22. Had a bearish engulfing candle on the first 4-hour candle, kind of a quiet candle on the second one. Eventually, there's potential hidden bullish divergence if the MACD gets back over to green above the price of 16. It's a pretty good likelihood of that happening eventually. That's really it for Lucid. PROG was up 58%. Not going to look at it. I said at the start. Don't request anything up over 30% today. I just don't look at that stuff that much on the stream because I'm only looking at these charts in the eyes of a swing trader, not a day trader. So, I mean, again, I'm not telling you that you cannot swing that. It's just not part of my system. So, I just don't swing things after they go up 60% in a day. I don't know anything about the company. I'm not saying I'm bullish or bearish. It's just a rule of the stream because it's mainly, the stream is geared towards swing trading. So that's why. MJ, falling wedge. I mean, a lot of these pot stocks, I think this is a pot stock ETF. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of these pot stocks are just in falling wedges. They have divergence, but they're still just making lower lows and lower highs. So, yeah, I don't know. That's really it as well for MJ. Palantir. Let's see if this is a harmonic. This was a premium trade. It hit the first target and didn't get to the second one. Kind of too perfect of like a double top, but it eventually could be like a scuffed butterfly. Daily, I guess potential hidden bullish divergence if you ignore these little two islands. Just pretty much had some quadruple. Let me verify that 1 second. Kind of, I mean, these other islands are kind of like this. This one was technically a lower low, but it's around the same high. So just had a bunch of, you know, it was losing a lot of positive momentum, pretty much bearish divergence from a psychological standpoint. And yeah, sold off pretty harshly after breaking that huge 2750 level from this high and this high. So that's Palantir.
I've got to get away. Nor I. All I understand is it's better to be hurt a little bit now than a lot later on.
Why, Mrs. Wilson, what's the matter?
I just remembered.
What? Speak up, child.
Any other takers, let me know in the chat.
Nothing at all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, please don't say that. Those days we had together, let's not forget them. Glorious days, and we'll have them all over again. I know we will.
Yes.
That might be it for the night. SOL, SUNW, all right. All right, so we got SOL. This was a failed swing from like months ago. Let me delete all this. It's kind of, it reminds me of that other one we were looking at. It just hit the PCZ of a bullish bat and it's just been going like sideways since. I guess maybe you could look at this as one low and then potentially a second low. Like that. Off the bullish bat. And then, let me check. Triple classic bullish divergence on the daily. So yeah, I mean, from a technical standpoint, there definitely is an edge here. You're not really at a historical level. Actually, you kind of are. The 624 kind of is a level, like $6 to 624, and look where it bounced off of. And you believe that a support back from 2014 is where it is trying to double bottom off with triple classic bullish divergence. Yeah, I mean, it looked very similar to this a couple months ago. It just, the price action just didn't follow. So yeah, the technicals are there, they're bullish, but it's still just making lower lows and lower highs. It's just a question of if they'll play out or not. Yeah. SUNW, whoa, broke out. Like, look at this. A perfect wedge, went all the way towards the apex, and then 2 days after it breaks out, it makes a 15% move. And then it kind of, like a lot of other stocks, had a great morning, and then it just sold off in the afternoon. Really good volume. Well, not really good, but higher than the last week or so. Triple, you even had, if you ignore this little island, you kind of had triple classic bullish divergence on the MACD. You had classic bullish divergence on the RSI. So at this point, I just want to see it hold above the current swing low at 555, which was also a high from December of last year. And let's see. This could also pretty much be looked at as a bullish bat, just like the last chart. Tesla has, I think, quadruple or triple classic bearish divergence on the daily, but it is holding above 780, which is a low from January 29th and a high from April 14th. So kind of mixed variables. As long as it holds 780, I guess it's fine. You just gotta hope that the bearish divergence underperforms, and that's really about it. But it says earnings are on the 20th. I didn't even know that. So if that's true, then that could make or break technicals, even though it's 50-50. And then VIR, no divergence. I would like to see us get, actually it is above it, never mind. So I like that it is above 35. I thought it was under it for some reason, which is where it bottomed out. You can see over here, and over here. There is a gap fill to like 43.30-ish. But it is kind of in between support and, I'm not going to say, actually it is a resistance as well. It's a high from October last year. So it's in between support and resistance. Yeah, it just kind of broke that support, had a little bit of a fake out, then it reclaimed it, and then since it reclaimed it, it's up about 15%. So that is VIR. And yeah, I think that's going to be the last one for the night. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the likes. Futures, still red. We'll see how they look in the morning. Manage your risk. And yeah, appreciate all the support. Join the Discord, links in the description. Have a great night. I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST. And peace out.